trying to learn how games work, just trying to see if I could create my own game. That was the main reason why I think we got into tech. But that has been a trajectory that my life has been on, and it's been an amazing and exciting, exciting journey. Right, looking at what um, entrepreneurship has done in my life, and the early exposure made me realize that there is a bigger side of the world than the four corners that I was born into, the community that I grew up in. And that's like the biggest thing every entrepreneur will tell you, that once you get the exposure, you realize, oh, the world is always bigger than you ever thought. Yeah. So I think it played a big role in my life, and it's still playing a big role in terms of the exposure. Yeah.
Yeah, and one thing I love about this is you're debunking the idea of like Africans, aren't innovative or don't understand technology to be able to start your journey that early. So I really love that. I just want to give a quick open floor right now for anyone that have any question for either Cab. I'm so sorry, Kiwa, but how do you have a nickname I could go by? Um, and also, if you have a question for him, you have a
Yeah,
question for Kelly.
I think you should just, yeah. So if the name, it looks like the name is hard for you to pronounce, so just call me Quaps or call me any of it is cool.
Kobe. Kobe. Okay,
Yeah,
Kobe.
Kobe.
Okay, Kobe. Thank you so much, Kobe, because I think we would have stayed here all night for me to pronounce pronounce your name. Thanks. I want to open the floor quick for anyone that is here. You have any questions so far for our panelists that have answered? We had Mohammed early on, and then we have Caleb. Now we have Kobe. If you have any questions, just raise your hand or unmute yourself. And we'll bring you back to Caleb while we wait if anyone has a question. No question? So Caleb, oh yes. Yes, someone has a question. Go ahead, please. Did someone raise their hand?
Yeah, no, I think you raised your hand. You can ask your question. Just there.
Okay, we're gonna go to Caleb here. If you have a question, maybe after Caleb's. Caleb, we're gonna touch on blockchain and future technology here. As a co-founder of, of the University of Ghana blockchain community, how do you invest? How do you envision blockchain technology solving real-world problems in Africa beyond cryptocurrency?
All right, that's an amazing question. And just as in some years ago, many referenced AI as the future of technology, and now we are in the future that they talked about. That is the same way blockchain technology. It's like the future of tech, and that is what we are really entering into. And when we talk about blockchain technology, actually cryptocurrency is just one of its byproducts. That is one of the things that many people do not understand. They think blockchain technology is cryptocurrency, but that is not it. It's like you saying that every drink is Coca-Cola. That is not it. There is much more to it. All right. So I'm working currently on my final year project, and it's based on blockchain. But I'm currently building a decentralized voting system for universities across the country where there is transparency and high security in voting, casting your vote as a student for student election. So this is an application built on the blockchain, but it doesn't have to do with money, but it applies the security and transparency attached to blockchain there. So if you're looking at Africa, we need to be borderless, and we have to harness the power of blockchain technology as an emerging technology to solve our problems. Trust me, the blockchain will make no difference to the growth and the impact in Africa if the Africans don't use it, if we Africans don't use it to solve our own problems. And unfortunately, our own problems cannot be solved for us by different people. We have to solve it ourselves. So that is one of the key, that if we harness the power of blockchain technology, we are able to use it to solve our own problems, such as I'm solving now. So I had to gain the experience where students from the computer science department had voted, and from there they had mistrust in the online election that has gone on because there was a crack in the system. So I sat down as a 300 level student and I thought to myself, what can I do with blockchain technology to solve this problem? And that is where it started from. So I believe that blockchain has come to stay, and blockchain is not just about cryptocurrency, but one of the ways that we could power blockchain technology is breaking the financial transaction border. All right. So in Africa, there exists the financial transaction border, such that if you are in Ghana and you have cedis and you travel to Nigeria, you can't spend cedis in Nigeria. You have to convert it to naira. If you go to South Africa, you have to convert. If you go to Kenya, you go to their currency. But blockchain, when it comes to this financial impact, has a way of leveraging or trashing that third system away, such that when you travel, we have a borderless financial system across the globe, not just across the globe, but also in the continent. And that promotes trans country and how do I even put it? Financial transaction. And that is what we are looking at, such that Africa is able to transact business among its own nations. All right. And that is one of the main technology that we must harness as a people.
Yes, I love that. And for anyone joining our conversation that don't know what a blockchain is, can you give us a short description of what blockchain is actually? Caleb? We lost him.
All right. Good. I'm here. All right. So blockchain is a bisyllabic word, blockchain, made up of two words. So we have block and we have chain. We all know how construction is made, right? When you have blocks, okay, compartments of blocks, such that they are chained to form a building, and it's easy to take one part of it out without crashing the whole thing. Are you following? So that is a scenario of the blockchain. Blockchain is a technology.
I think he froze.
That, there is Web 1, there is Web 2, and
yeah, I get you.
all right, and there is Web 3.0. So blockchain is actually Web 3.0. Web 2.0.
I think if you turn your camera off, it might not froze. Okay, I think we lost him on here. Mohammed, are you here with me?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
I'm back. I think I dropped off the network. Can you hear me now?
You did. Yes.
All right. So I was just saying that we are transitioning from the Web 2 that has to do with a third-party system to a Web 3, which is based on the blockchain technology, such that there is no interference with a third-party system. And that is just a scenario of the blockchain technology.
Correct. Thank you so much. I appreciate your answer. Very depth there. We're gonna jump into Mohammed. Mohammed, we're gonna talk on personal purpose with you here. How did you discover your purpose? And what advice do you have for young Africans still searching for theirs?
Okay, so the way I'm going to talk about purpose, right, is not one that seeks to let you think that purpose is something that you arrive at, you know. It's not something that you are able to get to and say, okay, I have arrived. It's not a particular location. It's a process. It's a journey, you know. The journey is the purpose, right? The journey is the whole point, right? The whole point is the journey. It's not the destination or where you are heading towards. The milestones and the goals that we set on the way um, are just like a means to something, you know, ways for us to be able to measure how we are doing, like in terms of improvement and KPIs, you know. So how did I discover my purpose? Um, so I like the word that you used, like discovery. It's something that you try and look for, right? It's something that so in order to look for something, it's more or less like a journey. Something. So when you want to think about it, for me myself, like I think about my life as an adventure or like a project, you know. Um, and then when you think of adventures, you would come to see that it's more or less a journey, just what I was saying. So myself, I would say growing up and growing up until let's say uni, I've been thinking of what I wanted to do with my life a lot. And I've changed my mind more than 20 times, you know. So it's not uncommon for you to feel confused at some point when it comes to purpose, what I want to do in my life. Those are like very big questions. And you the way the way you get to discover is not by the way we do it, like the conventional way. Go to school, like just um stay focused and get logged in. Like it's more than convention, right? If you really truly want to go have a go at life and then um be able to spot your purpose and then do that thing that you were called to do, um you are going to need to put together a lot of things. So with purpose, with myself, I would say I looked for things that I enjoyed doing, things that I think had future potential, and then also things that I am actually good at, right? Like these three things, this like the things that I look out for when I'm trying to pivot into something. And then when I say pivot, I use that intentionally, right? Because purpose and life is it's almost all the time about pivoting, right? You see the way I said earlier that you should I'm treating my life like an adventure or a project. Um, you should that's the way I treat my life. I treat my life like a startup. So with startups, when you are implementing or you are on the project, there are times when you would get the gut instinct or you would get the feedback from your customer base that probably the way you are serving is not the right way. And then no matter how that is dear to your life, you need to run away from that and then do the right thing. What's the feed you should act on the feedback that you are getting, right? And then I think that's the way you should go about life. You should get your own metrics. I'm not saying you should use my metrics. My metrics are what I laid down for you, right? I said something that I like, something that I think has future potential, and then something that I am good at, right? So it's more or less clearly like an intersection of these three things. That's where I think my purpose lies personally. But for you, you can also find your own sweet spots, right? That this you can use mine as a template, but um you should also try and find your own metrics, things that matter to you, things that are important to you, and then you can go from there. Yeah, I think this answers the question.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. I think you touched on something there, finding what works for you, because we're all different, right? And our own journey. Everybody is on their own personal journey here on earth. So thank you for that. We're gonna move to Caleb. Are you here with us? Kobe. I think it's Kobe.
Yes, I am. Caleb is also here.
Oh, okay. Thank you. We are going to touch on, for you, we're going to touch on legacy and impact here. Um, I think the question here is, how do you define legacy, and what impact do you hope to, what impact do you hope to have on Ghana and entrepreneur ecosystem?
All right, that's a great question. I have a mantra called the Shali Legacy. All right, the Shali Legacy, and I'm looking at establishing an organization called Purpose Africa, and Purpose Africa seeks to raise 10,000 young men and young women who have discovered purpose and they are living at the highest potential, and they are the best versions of themselves in any present time. And that is one of the legacy that I envision for myself in the next few years, in the next 10 years of my life. And when we're looking at defining legacy, we are looking at something that lives even after your death. And that is one of the things that I had in mind when I was writing my first book, It Is in You, which talks about purpose, principles, and power. You see, so I had in mind to leave a legacy that even after I die, my work shouldn't die. Dr. Miles Monroe says that the richest place in the world is not the gold mines of South Africa or the oil fields of Saudi Arabia, but the richest place is the cemetery, is a graveyard where there lives unachieved dreams. There we also find unlived inventions, unsung songs, and a whole lot. So legacy is you giving your best to the world around you, your best to the society. And when it comes to my my personal legacy that I am envisioning is to leave the best version of myself and to die empty, to die knowing that I have run the race, I have fought the fight, and I have given my best shot at life, becoming the best version of myself. So every day, as I strive to grow, as I strive to become the best version of myself, I am looking at adding value to myself, adding value to the people around me, and growing each day. And legacy is not something that is far-fetched. It's something that we do by our daily actions. It's something that we do by our daily engagement. All right. So, as a young person out there, if you're looking at leaving a legacy beyond your name, a legacy beyond your lifespan, then you're looking at living life intentionally to the fact that you want to impact life and you want to change lives. All right. It's not just about the amount of wealth that we amass, but it's about the contributions we make to the world to make it a better place. And that is what continues to drive me to be the best version of myself and to contribute the best that I can ever do in the present time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And Kobe, we're gonna follow up with that same question with you. When it comes down to legacy and impact, right? How do you define legacy for yourself, and what impact do you hope to leave here on this earth or in the Ghana entrepreneurship ecosystem?
Yeah, I guess that question was for me, right? Copy there.
Yes.
Great. So, with the impact, so I think one of my impacts is the one of the people I've even impacted is on the core, and that's Mohammed. I mean, the the whole thing about impact to me is that I'm able to put other people on. I'm able to recommend other people for roles. Other people are able to work with me and give a good note on me, and I'm also able to give a good reference on them. Right? I always say that the world is a small space, but it's also a big space in the sense that you don't know where your next referral comes from. And so you need to my one of the things that I'm trying to do is I'm trying to be kind. I'm trying to help people, put other people on, recommend other people, make sure that other people who work with me also get to a certain level. That when we are all moving, we get to move together. Not that I'm always going to the top. You see, there is a saying that when you want to go fast, you go alone. But when you want to go something that you go together, right? The the whole thing we I understand about it is that it's best to go with a lot of people because the only reason why we always say it's lonely at the top is because we want to go alone.
Mm,
And as a student, as a psychology person, someone with a psychology background, one of the things I've realized is that if you are able to take people along with you to the top, it's never going to be lonely.
mm,
But if you want to go, if you go alone, it's always going to be lonely. So my legacy is putting people on, making sure that the brotherhood is very strong with myself and other people. And honestly, I can count like 3 or 4 people on this call
mm-hmm.
that indirectly or directly I've worked with, I've spoken to, I've impacted on this call. And that's my legacy. That's
Yeah.
what I feel I'm born to do in the next generation. So I don't know if I want to die empty as Caleb, but, but I'm definitely sure that before maybe I leave this world, maybe in the next century,
Mm-hmm.
I'm supposed to have a strong brotherhood of people around me. Yeah.
Wow, I really love that, because especially for men in today's society, right, where sometimes it's hard for men to have that supportive system, to have that unity, that bond. It's easier for women to do so, right? Women, we can just call each other up and we gossip all day, or we cry to one another, we talk about our issues, right? But for men, right, men usually don't open up as much. So I love the fact that you're looking for this strong brotherhood, and you said something that I really love, right? If you want to go fast, go by yourself, but if you want to go farther, right, you have to go in a community. And I think that's what this platform is all about here today. So thank you so much again for that. I want to open up the forum one more time. If anyone have any question for our panelists today, please go ahead. Either just raise your hand or unmute yourself and ask away, please. Please don't be shy, Becky. Muna no shy. Una ask question. No, I go start talk for pidgin. Mohammed, may not they laugh me. They laugh me so witty. All right, guys.
Went
Sorry.
ghetto at one.
Sorry.
I said, allow me to laugh. I laugh at you. You just went ghetto at once.
Ghetto. Pigeon is not ghetto. I beg, don't diss my pigeon. Pigeon is not ghetto. Pigeon is part of who we are. Pigeon is part of our culture. We can't run away from that part of us. I love to speak pigeon. I embrace it. But as we come to here, maybe Amino, you want to check the chat? It seems like there's comment in there. Mentors. Sorry. If there's any comment, and then we could go from there. So we're gonna come to the end of our panel here, and I'm gonna go one more round and ask one more question to every panel here member. Mohammed, if you don't mind, I'm going to start with you for our final question as we move away and open up the floor for Mubaarakah to come on. Our final question here for you, Mohammed, is as you continue to build cloud nodes, what do you expect, or how do you expect Africans and young Africans to accept this platform that you're building and not want to use the Western platform instead? I guess the question is, how can you prove to young Africans that cloud nodes is worth investing whatever is money or investing their data, right? Trusting this platform that you're building. You're muted, sorry.
Okay, thank you. Um, First of all, I think if at any point in time you think that you know, let me just put it as clearly as I can, right? If you don't think that cloud nodes can offer you the value that you are looking for, I don't think you should buy from cloud nodes, right? Don't do that. Don't do that. You should definitely buy from the supplier where you think you would gain the most value, right? Like that's like something that I want to say before I go ahead and answer the question. Um, with the kind of innovation that we are testing and bringing out, I think the future is exciting. You know, like very exciting. Um, Especially right now with the advent of AI, machine learning, and um, all of the other things that accompany AI. It's incredible what we are able to do with tech. So I would say you should expect big, big, really big things. I'm overpromising here, and then you should be sure that I would over deliver on this, right? Like you should expect big, 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 big news from us um in the next few years, and then in the next couple of decades, I'm sure we would I believe we would be mentioned alongside the other big names, right? So yeah, this is just more or less a promise. So yeah,
And
I think to answer this question.
just for a
Pardon?
personal question here, just a personal question, how do you keep that faith and belief in yourself?
Yeah, so when it comes to building a startup, right? What faith is key, right? Like it's very needed. And then when you see the way some people believe, some people define faith is more or less um believing something without proof, like that's I don't see it that way. The reason why I have faith is I believe beyond any measure because of what we are doing, and then because of like the kind of systems and people that we have put together to be able to do this. um you you don't say you are going to do something while you yourself don't know how you are going to do it, right? So I believe that with the systems that we have in place and the kind of incredible people that we have,
Mhm.
that we are working with day in day out, that's the driver, you know, like that's the driver. So you are as good as the people that you are surrounded by. You're as good as the people whom you work with. Yeah. So when you work with great people and then you are able to implement great systems, right? In those situations, 1 plus 1 is not equal to one. It's not equal to 2. 1 plus 1 is equal to 1 million, right? When you have incredible people and then you're able to bring all of that energy together, 1 plus 1 can never be equal to 2. One plus
Yeah,
one is equal to very greater than 2.
yeah. Thank you so much for that. For Kobe, I want to ask you, how have you sorry, how have your venture meet the challenges need of Ghana, Ghanaians digital. Sorry, that question is so wrong. Sorry, my question is off right now. I'm going to actually switch the question here and ask you, what are the most important opportunities for African content creators, and how can they utilize the platforms that they have today to support them better? With Kobe.
Yes. So the challenges, uh, it's quite interesting. Right? So whatever we are building, it's a bit delusional in terms of what we are building. And for creatives to believe in that, it's also a bit delusional because we we are building something out of the blue. And if I get a question where you are asking how creators are benefiting. So
Mm-hmm.
last year we had one of our biggest events with some big bank, and what we were focusing, some of the things we were focusing on was IP, trademark, royalties, branding, PR work and stuff like that. And you could see how a lot of creatives pulled up to learn our our face, right? So we used to be, so let me rectify this. We used to be a fully tech company, but we realized we were not solving the core problem with the tech stuff we were building, and it was a bit off and on. And we decided to move more into creative tech, which is using the tech but in a more creative way that people and the people around us can feel free to access it. And so some of the things we are doing now is
Mm-hmm.
around how the creatives get access to stuff around IP and legal work. How the creative gets around to how the creative get to sign up to lawyers. How do they work with lawyers? So these are some of the things we are building for the African creators economy market. And with my chest like app like what I want to say with a full support of myself and my team, I believe 100% that what we are building is going to be part of the 20 billion industry, 20 billion creative economy market here in Africa. This is because it's something that Tosin Ajibade has already said, and who is Mr. Easy, we spoke about it last year, and he said the creative economy market is very huge, but
Mm-hmm.
there are less systems and less companies like our own that are creating what is supposed to be created for the African creator, right? And so we are solving a huge problem, but from a small point to become a big company. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that, and something that is much needed. I think there's so many great creators on the continent, but one thing we don't have is exposure, right? So this is something that's needed. And we're going to end here with Caleb. How do you ensure that spirituality
Hello.
value?
I
Yes,
think Caleb,
here.
Caleb has dropped. We've lost Caleb at the moment. So if we can continue without
Oh,
him.
okay. Then that would be the end of our panel discussion here.
Um,
Um, and
Also,
if
I think there was a question in the chat session. You could
yes,
check it out from Nawara.
question, where is the question here? Mhm. Does she want to? Nora, are you here? Hello, is she here?
Yes, yes, she's here.
Are you able to join the chat conversation? And who precise are you asking your question to? Okay. I'm not sure if you hear you. I think your question is asking, what if you have multiple passion, and how do you choose which one to focus on without losing interest in the others? Um, does any one of the panelists want to take this, or I can chime in here?
Yeah, let me take it on a quick one. When you have multiple passions, right? One of the things that happens is that your mind, when you have multiple passions, one of the things is that your mind gets distorted, and so every day you are trying to figure out, should I do, should I move into copywriting or I should move into photography? But one of the best things that can help you is you should you should write them. When you look at my on my Google Docs, right? There are different, like my passion. I have a passion in different aspect of things. I have I'm more into tech, law, and oil and gas. Like I have different things. How do I keep myself true to one? I just document them, what I want to do, and I put them down. So you should document them. In the next 2 years, what do you want to do? So you move into, let's say, food for 1 year,
Yes.
and then as you are working around the food stuff, then you tweak yourself into integrating, maybe, let's say, content creation and music into it. Then from there you begin. So in every aspect of it, you integrate the other passion into it. That is how it should work. It should work that way. It should be the best way for every individual who has multiple passion.
Mm. Um, Mohammed, you have a want to chime in, or anyone else? Open for anyone else to chime in as well.
So the way I want to think about passion is that I said earlier that it's not a destination, and then it's not like a one way that you just go and then like that's the way. Like it's a series of like interlocking kind of something. It's not something that you can even envision before like you set out walking. You set out walking, and then the path clears as you walk. So, but one thing that I would want to highlight also is that I don't want us to discount the, although I very much agree with Kwabena, right? I don't want us to discount the importance of focus, right? When you are starting, as he said, it's very important to give 100% of your time, as it was with me, um, to like the very, in fact, not the more important one, right? Because you are saying you are interested in like two. So at that point, the reason why you are divided is because you don't think that one is important than one, or like one has a bigger potential than one. So the way I would approach something like this is just pick one,
Mm.
right? It doesn't have to be the one that you think is the higher potential one or the more important one. Just pick one, like just pick one and run with it. Like run with it for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 16 months, and then keep going. At any point, right? If you feel like, oh no, like I'm not liking this as much as I thought. This life, right? Until you are dead, it's not over. Like you can go back and rewrite the story. Until you are dead, it's not over. So um it's not wrong as well, or it doesn't mean that you are broken as well. Like it's very important for me to mention this, that it doesn't mean that you are not sane when you have multiple passions or multiple things that you would want to do, right? In fact, the best people in the world that are doing anything that they are doing are not really specialists, right? They are generalists, right? When we look at somebody like Steve Jobs, the biggest, the biggest to ever do it in technology, right? Like arguably that's my goat in technology. I don't care whatever you say. That's my goat. When we talk about Steve, the the big thing about him was that he wasn't just like a technology specialist. In fact, he said it himself that like the engineers that were working at Apple were way smarter than him when it comes to building a product and sending it to market. But he knew a little bit about everything in the business. He knew a little bit about the engineering, the product, the design, the the laws governing sending out products, like everything. So I'm not saying that you should just go out there and then go bonkers on trying to learn everything else. But what I'm saying is that be a specialist in the beginning. Pick one and then dive in, go as deep as you can, or go as deep as until you feel like, oh no, okay, at this point I want to bring this in, right? And then even at that point, you can decide to do two things at the same time. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
Okay.
basically, that's I think that answers it.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with both of you. I think, you guys came from both great perspective. And, I also just want to add, like, wherever you are in your journey right now, look at that as the purpose, right? That's where you're supposed to be in life, because life happens in sequence, life happens in chapters, life happens, step after step after step, right? And each step that we are on, or each chapter that we are on, that is the most important chapter that could ever exist, because that's the only moment where we can make significant change, right? So when it comes down to having multiple passion, right, that's something that I think a lot of people struggle with, including myself, right? And feeling as if there's several things that we're supposed to be on. Like Muhammad said, pick one and then you can now branch out, and don't feel as if you cannot connect all your different interests into one, right? You can do several different things, but still have them intertwine, right? And remember that you're always serving your purpose. From my perspective, you're always serving your purpose with whatever you're doing, because what you're doing in the moment, somebody needs it, right? Whatever you're doing, someone needs it. You're not creating, or you're not trying to make a change because of you, because you want to become wealthy and rich. Yes, those are all the perks that comes with it, but you're doing it so that you can serve other people. And just for the simple fact that you're serving other people, you're now serving a purpose, right? You're serving a purpose in their life and in your life as well. So my little one two here is that whatever journey you're on, know that you're serving a purpose on that, and that's the purpose that you're supposed to be serving in that moment. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to host this amazing panel. I've had
There's
so
a
much great
question.
time. I went in from speaking English to speaking my pidgin, which I love so much. And Mohammed and Kobe and Caleb, thank you guys so much. I'm going to hand the conversation back to Amino.
Yes, I had a
Um,
question.
yes,
Hello,
please. Yes, we're here.
I had a question. Can I go ahead?
Yes, please, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. This is Andy. I'm Andy Apondenchi. Want to give a big up to Mubarak for such a great gathering of inspiring youth, and also inspiring presentation by the speakers. Such a great one. My question is, I think Shonda, please, I believe you can hear me clearly. Sure. Shonda Rhimes said, in a world of unlimited voices and choices, those who can bring people together and tell a good story have power. And then also, as we are talking about moving from passion to purpose, Les Brown also made mention that uh, when you help people achieve their dreams, you automatically achieve yours. In a world where today young people are at the forefront and even at the United Nations level, they are making sure that the youth is at the table, not just at the table, but they are adding their voices to impact and bringing out solution-oriented ideas to make our world a better place. I want to find out, and this is to any of the speakers. I want to find out how best can inspiring young people, as I think one of the speakers even made mention that if you want to go far, I've also no, I don't have the exact quote in my back pocket. If you want to go far, you go with people or you go along with people. How best can we collaborate and come together, or and if passionate young people come together to bring up something inspiring in a way of working in their purpose and alongside impacting our world for it to become a better place.
Mm, that's a great one. Does anyone? Yeah.
So okay, so he's the question is how best can we collaborate and right and make the world a better place.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes. Okay. So I think the first thing that we need to do, so collaboration is a mindset thing, right?
Mm,
The whole thing about collaborating in Africa is that a lot of us grew up thinking collaborating is bad because our parents will tell you cover your homework when you are working on something. You cannot don't tell anybody what you are doing and stuff like that. But I think I'll go wayward on that because we asked Aminu and he tells you some of the biggest projects we've done we did last year and ever since we started our company was through collaboration. We are the first creative company to collaborate with some big banks here in Ghana. And that should tell you a lot goes into collaboration than you think because what it does is that maybe you have the strength or you have the power to influence five people. But when you are able to collaborate with another person, you can go and influence, let's say, 25 people. So if we are able to join forces together and do that, what it means is that we reach a wider audience more than we could ever think. And the thing with collaboration is when you are collaborating, in as much as you are putting your interest on the line, you need to be very open minded because you might think you know all until you realize you don't know anything. And so
mhm.
to make the world a better place, the first thing I'll say is when you get somebody to collaborate with, be open minded and be willing to learn from the person. That will make the job very easier for you and that will make the world a better place because before we could collaborate with Stanbic, we had to collaborate with a tech with a hub first. And through the hub, we were able to collaborate with Stanbic. And that should tell you how collaboration works in the world. It's technically opens door for you and it makes everything that you are doing very easy. So I do believe collaboration should be a necessity. And just as I've said, use the same process and the world will be a better place. Just and also the world being a better place, there's not the whole world at large, right? It's your immediate environment should be the world for you and should be the place that you are trying to make a better place.
Absolutely. I love that. And you talk about mindset there when it comes down to collaborating. And I thought that was really interesting perspective as well. Because the more open we are with collaborating, right, the more we could take in, as you said, right, when you start collaborating with people, you know nothing, and I would say when it comes down to collaborating, right, not only do we go farther, right, but we also learn. It opens the gateway for us to keep learning. Anyone else want to chime in on this topic?
Yeah, so what I would have to say about this is that when it comes to working at all, you shouldn't see people as competitors, right? People whom you should see more as you should see people more as collaborators, potential partners, potential collaborators, than you see people as competitors. People are really not thinking about you the way you think, right? People are thinking about themselves and they are trying to better their own lives. So don't try. You should have that competitive spirit in you, but it should be like a trick you have up your sleeve that you can pull out when it's necessary. It should be a knife that is in your back pocket that you pull out, right, when things get real, when you have to. But you should view everyone as a collaborator, a potential collaborator, a potential partner. You never know. You never know who is going to help you get your break. So yeah, that's basically. And then also on that same point, right? When we would like to when you talk about this, right? The clean example I can give you, especially in the context in which we are speaking, is with Kwabna over here. I met Kwabna when we were in school, right? We were in school when we met. We met at a preaching competition of sorts. And when you look at, you can. One thing that I came to realize was that when we were working, like everybody is working on their own thing. Everybody is trying to move forward and go ahead in whatever they are doing. There was like a moment of realization for Kwabena and I, where we sat down and we talked about the fact that like we were doing well, like we are doing well, we are doing whatever we are doing, but like we all hold potential. And then come to think of it, like us, even personally, like on a personal level, and on a professional level, we are all having like very like great impact. What if we collaborate? Like, what if we are able to come together and to be able to do something? And then that's birthed the next gen men. We are trying to bring together men who are into business or into professional life, and then they are trying to move forward in whatever they are doing. So if you're a man here, you are a guy, and then you are trying to level up, you are trying to do great things, message either me or Kwabna, would get in touch. So that's all in the spirit of collaboration and trying to do things together. Like, it's very important. It's something I can't even understate it, right? Yeah, so I think that would do.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you.
Andy, any feedback from our panel here after
Yeah. That was a great submission from both panelists. I think Mahmood and then Kwabena. That's inspiring. As I might say, yeah, an opener, an eye opener. Thank you so much.
thank you. Thank you guys again. Does anyone have any final question before we close up our panel session here and move into the next phase of our event? No? Okay. No more. I want to say thank you again to our panel here. Thank you guys for the questions. Kobe, Mahmood, and also Caleb. You guys did a fantastic job with answering the questions, and your answers were so detailed, and I'm super excited. I'm excited for what's to come for all of you guys. I wish you guys nothing but the best in everything that you guys endeavor in. I see great success coming out of you guys' journey and what you guys are trying to do for our young generation. This is what we need in Africa. This is what we need young Africans to think differently, right? Think about innovation, think about the economy, and think about adopting and creating technologies that could support us. And not only that, right? Bridging out the gap between technology and Africa, right? Making that connection there, because this is something that is missing in Africa right now, which is technology, right? And that's where we see the world moving to. So I'm excited for this. So many brilliant people on this conversation. I was wowed by the answers that you guys were giving here. It's unfortunate that we didn't have any ladies chime into the conversations yet. Actually, we had a question in the group in the chat, so that was really good. And also, Mubaarakah, thank you so much for putting this together and for just organizing this, bringing people together in this way is amazing. And thank you again for allowing us to be here. I'm going to turn the mic over back to Amun, if you're here, brother.
All right, that was an amazing session. I really enjoyed the session. I've worked with Kobna, worked with Mahmoud, and also with Caleb. And I'm a living testimony to everything that he shared. So I really appreciate, and then I'm sure our audience also had a lot of insight from what he shared. So now I've been able to have more insights. Let's move to our next moment, which is the moment that brings all of us home. So here I would like to give a brief bio about our founder before she gives her keynotes. So our founder, who is Mubaarakah, she's a passionate advocate, a survivor, and a visionary. The founder of Umoja Foundation, and this mission isn't just something she works on, it's something she has lived. Her personal story fuels a movement for dignity, healing, and choice for girls around the world. She's also the founder of Thamani Cosmetics, a brand that celebrates Africa heritage and skin confidence. She works as a financial advisor at Petra Trust, helping others build wealth and wisdom. In everything she does, her message is clear. Every girl deserves the power to shape her own future. With deep respect and excitement, please join me in welcoming the heart behind Umoja, Mubaarakah Salwat Rashid. So I'm handing over to you if you can hear me.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you so much for this exciting opportunity. And let's just jump straight to my keynote. What happens? I hope I am audible enough.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. What happens when a girl's future is determined before she even understands who she is? Does she fight it, find strength, or simply learn to endure? Every single day, tens of thousands of girls across the world wake up not to prepare for school, dream big, or plan their futures. Instead, they wake up to accept lifelong decisions made for them, not with them. Early and forced marriage is not a tradition worth preserving. It's a violation of rights that rewrites a girl's life before she even writes her own name fully. This is not just a statistic, it's a normalized, overlooked crisis. It happens in most unexpected places, in quiet villages, crowded towns, and yes, even in neighborhoods we call home. UNICEF reports that more than 650 million women alive today were married before they turned 18. In sub-Saharan Africa, around 4 in 10 girls are affected. But let's bring it home to Ghana. In Ghana, while the national average of child marriage stands at 21%, the problem becomes far more severe in certain regions. In the Northeast region, child marriage prevalence is 39.6%. Let me repeat that again. In the Northeast region, child marriage prevalence is 39.6%. In the Upper East, it is 36.1%. Northern region, 34.9%. Savannah region, 31.5%. Upper West region, 29.3%. These are not just numbers, these are girls. Each percentage point represents daughters, sisters, students with futures either stolen or sold. Behind these numbers is the 13-year-old who left school after her engagement, the 15-year-old whose dreams of becoming a nurse was silenced by a wedding she didn't choose. They hide the girls who quietly vanish from the classroom and are never seen there again. This is why we are here. This is why MOHA exists. Why does this still happen? Why do families, even those with love in their hearts, still choose marriage over opportunity? And how can we challenge these decisions without shaming those making them? Early and forced marriage is driven by poverty, For many families, marrying off a daughter means fewer mouths to feed or access to dowry or support. Tradition, in some communities, is simple, what has always been done. Gender norms. Girls are often viewed as future wives and mothers before they are seen as individuals. Fear. Fear of teenage pregnancy, shame, or dishonor pushes parents into making permanent decisions too early. But at its roots, this issue reflects gender inequality. It's about control, about silencing a voice before it learns how to speak, about choosing survival over self-determination. Let's not be mistaken. Early child marriage doesn't protect girls, it endangers them. This issue isn't just something I read about, it's something I lived. I wasn't 18, but I was still married to a man that I didn't choose, a man I did not love. My voice wasn't asked for, and my heart wasn't considered. That day, I stood in a room full of people, but I felt completely alone. There were chants outside, but inside I was silence. I was not just in a wedding, I was at funeral of my freedom. I had nights that I couldn't breathe, days where I felt invisible. I looked in the mirror and I saw a stranger. And yes, there were moments I wanted to disappear completely. But something inside me refused to be quiet. I found strength little by little. I found my voice again. And that journey, full of pain and healing, is what led to the birth of the Umoja Foundation. Early marriage is more than a signature on a certificate. It's a trauma that reshapes a girl's mind, body, and spirit. Imagine being called a wife before you even figured out who you are. Imagine someone owning your body, your time, your decision. Imagine watching your peers move forward in school while you are left behind. The World Health Organization reports that girls married early are twice as likely to suffer intimate partner violence, the psychological damage, PTSD, anxiety, depression often goes untreated. In fact, a 2022 study in West Africa found that adolescent brides were 41% more likely to suffer serious emotional distress compared to their unmarried peers. This isn't the trauma, this is the trauma no one talks about. This is the darkness that doesn't show in family portraits or wedding photos. We can't address early and forced marriage without talking about family and culture. But here's the truth. Tradition should never be a weapon. In many communities, including across northern Ghana, early marriage is often shaped by a mix of beliefs, fears, and generational practices. Families may fear shame from a daughter becoming pregnant outside marriage. Some parents believe they are protecting their girls by marrying them off early. Others simply follow what their own parents did, not knowing there is another way. But tradition is not untouchable. Tradition is a living thing. It evolves. And for love for our daughters doesn't have to look like control. If we want change, we can't blame families. We have to understand them, work with them, and offer real alternatives. That means involving local leaders and elders in solutions, empowering women who've survived early marriage to lead conversations, engaging men and boys as allies and advocates, creating space in schools, churches, mosques, and communities, changing hearts through stories, not just statistics. Real change doesn't come from outside. It comes when the people affected are the ones leading the transformation. Today isn't just about unveiling a name or logo. It's about declaring a mission, one that's personal and urgently needed. The Umoja Foundation was born from pain, but built on purpose. Umoja, which means unity in Swahili. It's about bringing people together, survivors, families, youth, communities, advocates, to say no girl should be forced into marriage, and every survivor deserves healing, dignity, and a second chance. Here's what we stand for: raising awareness through storytelling and education, supporting survivors with trauma-informed care, safe spaces, and skill training, partnering with families to prevent future child marriages, collaborating with schools, NGOs, and leaders to change systems from the inside, building survivor-led programs that give girls the tools to reclaim their future. Our vision: a world where every girl chooses her path and every survivor has the tools to rebuild her life. Our mission is to end early and forced marriage by supporting survivors, educating communities, and influencing systems. Umoja is not just a foundation, it's a movement. It's a silence for the It's a voice for the silence, a sanctuary for the broken, and a place where hope is louder than harm. So now that you've listened, what can you do? Because this can end as just another emotional story. It must be a call to action. Whether you are a teacher, student, parent, community advocate, a community leader, or just someone who believes in dignity, you have a role to play. Here are 5 immediate things that you can do. 1, post your reflection on social media with the hashtag Stand with Umoja. Write or call a local leader. Ask them what are they doing to enforce the ban on child marriage in your region. 3, sign up for our webinars. We'll be hosting series on trauma, healing, and survivor-led advocacy. Learn how to be part of the solution. 4, donate or donate our fundraisers in order for us to be able to help to provide therapy, vocational training, and emergency assistance for girls escaped in forced marriage. 5, hold a conversation space, whether in your classroom, your office, your youth group. Create a space for people to talk openly and challenge norms. And if you are part of a larger institution, a school, a corporate body, faith organization, or media outlet, we want to work with you. Let's build awareness campaign, mentorship circles, survivor-led panels, healing retreats, and advocacy initiatives led by young people. Real change doesn't come from speeches. It comes from movement, from repetition, from doing something, even if it's small. We are not just what happens to us, we are what we choose to become. Today, we choose to become builders of hope. We choose to become advocates for girls whose voices were dismissed. We choose to become witnesses to pain and warrior for healings. We are not broken, we are rebuilding. The Umoja Foundation is not just a name, it's a lifeline. It's for the girl in Tamale who still dreams of becoming a nurse, for the survivor in Boku who wants to start her own business, for every young woman who refuses to let her story end at a forced wedding altar. To every survivor listening to this, you are not alone. You are not what they try to make you. You are whole, you are worthy, and you are unstoppable. To every supporter, thank you for showing up. Thank you for standing with us, for believing that no girl should be silenced. We are Umoja. We are unity, healing, resilience, and renewal. And this is just the beginning. Thank you so much for everyone.
Thank you very, very much. So that was amazing. Really appreciate. Just know that we are not alone. We are with you. How that was great. That was great. Amazing. So on this note, we are about to launch the Umoja Foundation. So for my keynote speech. Now, ladies and gentlemen, just it's to launch the Umoja Foundation. So I think there's supposed to be there's going to be a video, a short demo display where we display our logo to you. So we do that. Okay. So where I'm from, but last tend to be hard to see. Pray for strength, please let it wash off of me. I can't help myself from having these words.
Log on to www.selfful.com.
Myself that nobody's no harm. I let them most really deserve it. Come from a place where you can't even see. Talk let them even dreaming it. Them not believe in themselves and no can they believe it. All of my blessings from God still don't know what He sees in me. So much further and what's in front. Whenever I pass, I got covered in sweat from having these wild dreams. Where I'm from, but life they tend to be hard to see. Pray for strength, please let it wash off for me. I can't help myself from having these wild dreams.